You know what? In our world nowadays, there are so many options in everything, right?
That's right.
Options in food, options in drink, options in cars. And I tell you, there are some options available when you hit your store for screws.
Fixings.
Or we do have some nails here.
Nails, yep.
There are so many different options. And I mean, even to a seasoned renovator, I go in there and every 6 months there's a new finish, there's a new head, there's a new something.
Yes.
And it can be really overwhelming.
Don't get overwhelmed by it, because essentially they're all doing the same thing.
Fixing
They're
shit.
fixing one thing to another thing, okay? The difference is, what is the thing that they're fixing to the other thing?
How
And
big does it need to be?
how big is it? What sort of weight is it carrying, if it's carrying any weight? And whereabouts is it? Is it outside? Is it inside? That's essentially what it comes down to. So don't get too thrown. A lot of this stuff does the same stuff as other things do. They've just got different names and different coatings and things like that.
So when I read this, though, there's just so much information. And one of the things that stresses me a little is that across different brands, it doesn't feel that standardised. Some things do, like obviously the length of the screw or the length of the nail, the gauge, so
The
how
gauge,
fat,
yep.
how fat or skinny,
Yep.
or broad or slim,
Yep.
the shank of the nail is. But then they have other really interesting things, like you have a bugle head. You have, I saw earlier, I don't even know the name for
There's
it.
a square fix here.
The square fix
Yep.
here.
Or type 17 it's called. So
There you go. It's not
yeah.
even called square fix. That
That's
would be
right.
too simple.
Yep.
It's called a type 17. And then you have your standard Phillips, and then you have your normal nails.
Normal nails.
But then we go like one step further. So here, what have we got? We've got gold,
We've got gold passivated,
right?
galvanised. We've got stainless here. We've just got raw steel here. We've got brass. I don't even know what these have got coated on them. You know?
Oh, look, it's even got a cool name. It's called Florentine Bronze.
Well, there you go, Florentine bronze. So it's got an artificial
And
coating
then
on
what's
as well.
that about? That looks
So
like
treated
army.
pine. So
Army green nails.
yeah, that's right. And these have got, what's this called?
Climacoat? Is that the Climacoat?
That's right. Climacoat.
So
That's a
can you-
Climacoat 3.
Can you see why people just go, I'm out, I'm opting
Yeah,
out?
yeah, and it's like, I suppose it's like a lot of things. The suppliers will try and drill down to as niche as possible so that they can capture that part of the market if
Capture that market.
they so need. But essentially what it comes down to is what sort of exposure to the elements is your fixing going to have, what size does it need to be, and what's its fixing.
All
to.
right. So let's go from like the most hardcore battering elements ever. So I'm on the beachfront.
Yes.
Literally, I'm on the beachfront and I have beach water lapping over some part of my front fence or front deck every day because I'm on absolute beachfront. How cool would that be?
That would, well, yeah, for unless there's a king tide.
Yeah, good point. So what's my like ultimate material? Super hard.
Stainless steel's the one to go with, something like that. So is that's stainless? That's stainless steel grade 304, which you can see there, just down there. That comes in grade 316 as well, which is slightly better grading stainless steel. But that's basically the two that you will get. Stainless steel is rated for marine applications, so this will withstand.
So for my beachfront house, we're okay.
Yeah, so it kind of tends to resist oxidisation pretty well. Salt, which is incredibly corrosive, especially when, because salt and fresh water, when mixed together, become acidic.
Yes.
So that will eat away most coatings, but stainless steel is pretty resistant for that sort of stuff. Not saying that it will stay
Beautiful forever.
Beautiful forever. Like everything, you need to maintain it. You need to replace it when it starts to corrode, because it will over time. And the Australian sun will destroy just about anything.
Okay, so if we go down the ladder.
Okay, next step down from stainless would probably be something like a galvanised, hot dip galvanised. Okay, so
hot dip galvanised. What? I took a dip in a hot tub.
A hot pool of zinc, basically, is what it comes down to.
Good.
So hot dip galvanising is it's called hot dip because basically they put whatever the base metal is, generally steel or iron, into a boiling vat of zinc at about 450 degrees. And that will bond to the base metal. And the difference between something like a hot dip galvanising and this is called gold passivated
Right.
which is still a zinc coating, but the difference being this one's about 16 times thicker coating than this one.
Hence, more resistant to corrosion.
Yes, and the zinc acts as what they call as a sacrificial anode, so it will corrode before the base metal corrodes. So that's
And
basically-
hence lose your fixing.
Yeah, that's right. So that's why it's there. And then if you're not in a marine environment, then you're outside, galvanise is the best way to go.
All right. But then where does Climacoat fit in? Let's go to that.
Well, Climacoat, okay, so this is a product that has been developed by this company to be specifically for treated pine. So there's some chemical elements in treated pine that...
Obviously, to stop corrosion and
that will-
termites.
yeah,
and
that's right.
There's
So-
some lovely chemicals in treated pine.
There's some lovely chemicals, so have your mask on when you're cutting it if you can
Correct.
do that. And then when you've cut it, treat the ends of it.
With more chemicals.
With more chemicals. But yeah, there are some elements in that treatment that may cause corrosion and pitting on some of
And so that's pretty much like putting your screw in a glove to protect it from the chemicals.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's like
All right, what else have we got
a
here?
colour bond coating for your
Okay.
screw.
Okay, so we have solid brass now.
Solid brass.
Not a goer outside.
No, internal only.
Internal only. And why would I
moisture.
use that over, so something like this is a wood screw that's just zinc plated?
Well, depends. That's just a much nicer colour to look at. So that's
So it's just prettier.
pretty much an aesthetic choice there, really. So, and you can see these are wood screws possibly designed for cabinetry because you've got quite a big open thread here, but you can see the shank here is bare of thread. So what you're actually doing there is you're pulling a piece of timber to another
Okay.
piece of timber, basically. So you're compressing it together, whereas if your thread went all the way through like this,
Yep.
you're actually screwing those two bits. So the top piece of timber is fixed to the bottom piece with a consistent thread through
Okay,
it.
so it's not just bringing them together,
No,
it's
that's
actually
right.
fixing them
That's
together.
right. So with this one, what you'll be doing is your top piece of timber will actually have a bigger hole in it
Yes.
than the bottom piece.
Okay.
Because the top piece will be getting pulled down on top of it, normally in conjunction with maybe some wood glue or something like that, so in some cabinetry or something
Yeah.
like that. And there'll be, essentially it's clamping it together, whereas that's screwing it together. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
people are kind of going, oh my gosh, I've got to think about length, I've got to think about gauge, I've got to think about where it is, I've got to think about what I'm using. And literally, if you walk down into a hardware store and there are, I would even guess there's nearly 100 options.
Oh, there'd be many, many, many more in a big warehouse. Many,
Yes.
many, many more. But essentially...
So what do
they're
you
all-
do? What do you do?
Ask. If you're ever in doubt, then ask.
Okay.
That's the best you can do. So basically what it comes down to is size and application. Where is it going to be? Is it outside
So when
or
you go
inside?
into a place and you say, hey, I need a screw, you need to be able to give them answers.
What am I fixing?
So
To
what am I fixing and where is it?
That's right, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
there you
pretty
go.
much, yeah.
They're the golden rules. What am I fixing? Where is it? And if you can't get the information from the snippet, so the 101 of fixings that we've just given you, remembering that stainless steel is the king.
There's really good descriptions on the back of most fixings too. They'll give you a fairly good idea of the fit for purpose used for that fixing. So if you're ever in doubt, then check that. And also with some of these like bugle head fittings, they'll tell you on the back the type of tool you need to fix it as well. Because it's not often just a screwdriver head or standard Phillips head, so you might need to buy that from the tool shop as well. Otherwise you're going to get home and go, well,
Going to be sorely disappointed.
you will be. And no one hates it more than me or you, I'm sure, or you at home, by having to go back to the hardware store after you've just spent 6 hours there grabbing your gear, and for the sake of something that's $2 that was in a little corner of the tool shop.
Yeah, so check out the tool you need
Check
to
the tool you
put
need.
these in.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hope that's made it a little bit easier. Next time you walk down the tool aisle, you'll feel a little bit further along the spectrum from novice to expert when it comes to all things fixings and screws.